Hello and welcome aboard, cadets. My name is Captain Gibbs, and today we will be discussing the meat and gravy and potatoes of BattleTech, the almighty BattleMechs. But before we dive headfirst into the mechs themselves, we'll first need to talk about the history of why and how they came to be, as well as the mech classifications and categories. It all began in the Terran hegemony in the mid-2300s with a professor by the name of Gregory Atlas, who the Terran hegemony placed in charge of researching and developing the myomer bundles, which are essentially artificial analogs of biological muscles, with greater strength-to-weight ratio. Atlas would finally complete his research in 2350 and make the first myomer bundle capable of retracting 10% of its original size. However, during the test, the mere strength of the retraction broke Atlas's measuring instruments and all the equipment that had harnessed the myomer. Luckily for our boy Atlas and his team, no one was harmed. For his efforts, he would receive 2 awards, the Nobel Prize in 2351, as well as being the first man to receive a peerage, essentially making him the first noble throughout the Terran hegemony and the sphere. It would not be long until his work would see the first industrial mechs in use throughout the Terran hegemony. The Terran hegemony, upon seeing the vastly growing use of industrial mechs in both industrial construction, mining, and even freaking farming, would set about to expand their use into the military arm of the hegemony. They would begin development of the first prototype with the Kawaii designation, Mackie. It would take 20 Terran production firms and a jaw-dropping 90 years to get the Mackie operational. Now, a little fun fact for you guys. Dr. Atlas's work would remain highly top secret until the reign of Our Lady Margaret Cameron of the Terran hegemony, whose reign would see vast technological reforms that would help lay the foundation for mech warfare. On the 3rd of February, 2439, the Mackie's first combat trial would take place on Terra, in North America. In a test against 4 remotely operated Merkava heavy tanks, the Mackie prototype successfully destroyed all 4, as well as not taking a scratch, being able to outmaneuver and outpace the tanks. Upon witnessing the combat trials of the newly anointed BattleMech, the Lord of the Terran hegemony, Jacob Cameron, would divert massive resources into mass production of the BattleMech, Mackie. So much, in fact, that Jacob would nearly bankrupt the Terran hegemony. We're all excited, Jacob, but calm your tits, son. The Mackie would remain top secret until in 2443 it saw combat against the Draconis Combine. During the Age of War, the Draconis forces had deployed a fully heavy armored company. They would engage the first BattleMech, and they would face near total defeat. All save for 1 heavy armored unit would successfully extract in what would only be called a massacre. So devastating was this defeat that the news of the first BattleMech spread quickly throughout the entire sphere. It was at this point that all the major houses would desperately attempt to get them by any and all means necessary, and in the 7th of February 2455, Lyran commandos would successfully steal the technology to produce BattleMechs, and in 2459, the Lyrans fielded their first BattleMech. The remaining houses followed suit in either negotiating, coercing, or stealing the technology for themselves. The BattleMechs would be used throughout the rest of the Age of War, and in the Star League era they would see major technological improvements. However, a lot of these technological improvements would be lost when the Star League finally collapsed, regressing centuries back technologically. It is also important to note that during the collapse, the entity that would become Comstar in the Terran hegemony's place would hoard some of the Star League tech in massive vaults, acting in a similar way to the Catholic Church in hoarding knowledge of the Romans. However, despite this, a great deal of mech tech was lost. This would become known as Lost Tech. I know, real creative. Some of the technology would later be rediscovered in devices from the Star League era called memory cores, but that's reaching past 2025. Now, with the juicy bits out of the way, we can delve into the next subject, mech classes, which are determined via their tonnage. We will also talk about BattleMech combat categories, which determines the combat roles of mechs within classes. Starting with the light class of BattleMechs. To be a light mech, it needs to weigh between 20 and 35 tons. The trade-off for having less ordnance and armor is the incredible speeds the lights are capable of. This makes them excellent scout mechs. Lights are also commonly tasked with taking care of enemy infantry and light vehicles. Medium BattleMechs are the bread and butter of any army's BattleMech contingent, weighing between 40 and 55 tons. These mechs are commonly considered the jack of all trades but masters of none. Medium mechs carry a fair amount of armor and weapons, all the while being able to stay fairly maneuverable. This makes them the most versatile mech class out there. You'll also find that most Lance Commanders will pilot medium mechs due to their flexibility. Heavy BattleMechs are the frontline mechs which see some of the most combat. Weighing in between 60 and 75 tons, heavy mechs carry a considerable amount of armor and ordnance, capable of unleashing continuous fire on enemy positions. They are tough as nails, but they aren't invincible. Assault mechs are the heaviest mechs. Weighing between 80 and 100 tons, they can carry an insane amount of ordnance and armor. However, they are incredibly slow, which is why you should always support them with the rest of the Lance. Assault mechs are fantastic at breaking through enemy positions. They also make good defensive positions as well, due to their sheer freaking armor. There are two other notable classes we will not be discussing in this video, the ultralight mechs and the super heavy mechs. And that also includes the Omni mechs as a variant, but they'll take place in a later video when we talk about the clan invasions. Now for the combat categories. There are 7 distinct categories which BattleMechs will be placed under. This will help determine what roles you want each of these mechs to perform, based upon its combat category. Bralla Mechs, unlike their name, are medium to long-range mechs with the idea of pounding enemy positions and supporting other mechs. They also excel at rooting out missile boats and sniper boats from their nests. Juggernauts are slow as fuck. These mechs are designed with the idea of getting in close and finishing off an enemy at close ranges, having tons of armor to shield them as they make their slow advance. Missile boats are mechs outfitted with tons of LRMs with the idea of hiding them in concealed positions called nests, releasing an unrelenting bombardment of missiles on spotted enemy positions. Scouts, just like the name would suggest, get in fast, probe enemy positions, get out. Commonly used to go after missile boats or sniper mechs. Snipers, set up shop in a good firing position, preferably a wooded area for the added cover, outfitted with direct fire long-range weaponry such as large lasers or projectile cannons. Strikers, lightly armored fast mechs, outfitted with loads of close-range weaponry. The idea is to send them in, target a specific mech, and unload everything you've got. Jump back to medium range, behind cover, rinse, repeat. Now for the mechs. We will be talking about the mechs in the BattleTech game by Harebrained Schemes, so mostly mechs around the post-Third Succession War. The LTV-1 Locust, armed with 1 medium Martel laser and 2 Sperry Browning machine guns, cheap to produce but very effective against infantry and lightly armored vehicles. The Com-2D Commando, armed with 1 Shannon 6-shooter missile pack, 1 Coventry 4-tube missile system, and 1 Defiance B3M medium laser, a heavier scout mech capable of taking a hit and dishing one back. The SDR-5B Spider, armed with 2 Aberdovey Mark III medium lasers, commonly known for its speed through air as well as on land. Some call this mech a cancer mech. The FS9H Firestarter, armed with 2 Magnum medium lasers, 2 Depris RF machine guns, and 4 Purity L-Series flamers, fast, maneuverable, and an infantryman's worst nightmare, great to have along for barbecues. The JR7D Jenna, armed with 4 Argra 3L medium lasers and 1 Thunderstroke SRM4, known for her impressive speed and staggering firepower, she's the poster child for strikers. The PND-9R Panther, armed with 1 Telos short-range missile delivery system and 1 Lord's Light PPC, is a classic support mech, great for providing cover fire to and from combat zones. The RVN-1X Raven, armed with 2 Series Arms medium lasers, 1 Harpoon 6 SRM launcher, and 1 Series Arms Electronic Warfare X1, a cutting-edge mech and one of the only ECM mechs available for use in the BattleTech game. The UM-R60 Urban Mech, fucking kawaii desu, armed with 1 Imperator B cannon and a Harnan small laser, the cutest mech throughout the sphere. So what if it looks like a frickin' trash can? The CDA-2A Cicada, armed with 2 Magna medium lasers and 1 Magna 200 small laser, fantastic for hunting down light mechs. The BJ-1 Blackjack, armed with 2 Whirlwind L autocannons and 4 Intech medium lasers, relatively slow but an excellent close-range battle mech. The VND-1R Vindicator, armed with 1 Series Arms Smasher PPC, 1 CN Series Jaguar LRM missile system, 1 Series Arms medium laser, and 1 Hessen small laser. An excellent medium and long-range mech, however, lacks close-range fire support. The CN-9A Centurion, armed with 1 Luxor D-Series autocannon, 1 Luxor LRM, 2 Photech 806C medium lasers, has a considerable amount of armor, great for advancing enemy positions. The ENF-4R Enforcer, armed with 1 Federated autocannon, 1 Chiscomp 43 Special Large Laser, 1 Chiscomp 32 Small Laser. Boasts a considerable amount of firepower, bearing significant armor, making it an excellent brawler. The HBK-4G Hunchback, armed with 1 Kaliyama Big Bore AC-20, 2 Hellion 5 medium lasers, 1 Diverse Optics Type 10 small laser. The mounted AC-20 is enough to make even an assault mech shit itself. The GRF-1N Griffin, armed with 1 Fusagon particle projectile cannon, 1 Delta Dark long-range missile 10 rack. Reliable, sturdy, the Griffin is an excellent dueling mech. The KTO-20 Kintaro, armed with 1 Magna Mark III large laser, 1 Holly LRM-5 missile rack, 2 HoverTech SRM-6 missile racks, 2 Magna Mark II medium lasers. The Kintaro hits hard with each blow, effectively crippling its adversaries. A close-in mech, good for showering your foes in SRM splatter fire. The S7d Shadowhawk, armed with 1 Armstrong J11 autocannon, 1 Holly long-range missile 5 rack, 1 Holly short-range missile 2 pack, 1 Martel medium 5 laser, is a favorite among many pilots, good for long to medium-ranged combat. The WVR-6R Wolverine, armed with 1 Whirlwind autocannon 5, 1 Harpoon 6 SRM launcher, 1 Magna Mark II medium laser, a fantastic mainline BattleMech sporting many heat sinks, keeping her nice and cool when the going gets tough. The DRG-1N Dragon, armed with 1 Telos Deca Cluster LRM missile system, 1 Imperator A autocannon, 2 Victory 23R medium lasers, relatively fast for heavy mech standards, good at getting in close and wreaking havoc on the enemy. The QKD-4G Quick Draw, armed with 4 Omnicron 4000 medium lasers, 1 Delta Dart long-range missile 10 rack, 1 HoverTech short-range missile quad. While sporting a significant laser arsenal, be warned, the Quick Draw suffers from heat displacement issues. The CPLT-C1 Catapult, armed with 2 Holly long-range missile packs, 4 Martel medium lasers, and LRM boat by definition, guarded well. The JM-6S Jägermech, armed with 2 Midran Model C medium lasers, 2 Midran Model D light autocannons, 2 Magna Mark II medium lasers, an excellent anti-armor mech capable of breaking through thick armor and tearing into its targets with its lasers. The TDR-5S Thunderbolt, armed with 1 Sunglow Type 2 large laser, 1 Delta Dart long-range missile 15 rack, 3 Diverse Optic Type 18 medium lasers, 1 Baikel short-range missile twin rack, 2 Volkers 200 machine guns, an excellent well-rounded mech capable at fighting at any distances, thanks in part to its diverse armaments. The R5h Grasshopper, armed with 1 Diplin HD large laser, 4 Diplin M3 medium lasers, 1 Conan LRM-5, a medium to long-range battle mech capable of providing excellent covering fire. The ON-1K Orion, armed with 1 Kaliyama Class AC-10, 1 Kaliyama Deathbloom missile system, 2 IWW medium lasers, 1 IWW Class 4 SR missile system, a more than capable mech for confronting heavily armored targets. The WHM-6R Warhammer, armed with 2 PPCs, 1 SRM-6, 2 medium lasers, 1 small laser, and 2 machine guns. A phenomenal close-range battle mech capable of making short work of any adversaries thanks in part to the sheer awesome firepower it sports. The CTF-1X Cataphract, armed with 1 Series Arms Smasher PPC, 1 Starlon Maxi Cannon Type 10, 4 Series Arms medium lasers, a decently armored mech capable of mid-range fire support. The AWS-8Q Awesome, armed with 3 Cruise particle projection cannons, 1 Diverse Optics Type 10 small laser, excellent in defense and offensive operations. The VTR-9B Victor, armed with 1 Pontiac 100 AC-20, 2 Sorenstein 5 medium lasers, 1 Holly short-range missile pack 4, and is one of the few assault mechs capable of performing jumps. The ZEU-6S Zeus, armed with 1 Thunderbolt A5M large laser, 1 Coventry Starfire LRM missile system, 1 Defiance Class 5 autocannon, 2 Defiance B3M medium lasers, a fantastic closing mech sporting long-range weapons that don't burn up too much heat for the closer-ranged laser weaponry. The BLR-1G Battlemaster, armed with 1 Donal PPC, 6 Martel medium lasers, 2 Sperry Browning machine guns, 1 Holly short-range missile pack. Sporting a significant amount of armor, the Battlemaster has allegedly taken on entire lances of enemy mechs alone. The STK-3F Stalker, armed with 2 Jackson B5C LRM-10s, 2 Magnum Mark III large lasers, 2 Magnum Mark II medium lasers, 2 Thunderstroke SRM-6s. The Stalker has no trouble with heat management and is a more than capable mech once expending its LRMs, using its considerable medium-range weaponry to close the distance. The HGN-732 Highlander, armed with 1 M7 Gauss rifle, 1 Holley LRM-20 missile rack, 1 Holley SRM-6 missile rack, 2 Harmon Star-class medium lasers. The Highlander boasts not only a significant display of weapons and armor, but what makes it the most frightening mech to mech pilots is the Highlander Burial. Using its powerful jump jets, the Highlander can crush a light mech like an empty fucking pop can. The BNC-3S Banshee, armed with 1 Imperator B autocannon, 1 Magna Hellstar PPC, 1 Donal PPC, 1 Harpoon 6 SRM launcher, 4 Magnum Mark II medium lasers, 2 Magnum Mark I small lasers. While originally a failed design, the 3S would see frontline use due to the sheer awesomeness of her firepower and armor. The KGC-0000 King Crab, armed with 2 Imperator D autocannons, 1 Doom Bud long-range missile 15 rack, 1 Magnum Mark III heavy laser. It is important to note that due to the technological advancements and hard-to-produce parts of the King Crab, very few still exist to this day. However, despite this, the King Crab is an honorable machine of war, capable of smashing through entrenched enemy positions. The S7d Atlas, armed with 1 Defiance Mech Hunter autocannon, 1 Farfire Maxi Rack LRM-20, 4 Defiance B3M medium lasers, 1 Tharhees Maxi SRM-6. The Atlas is considered the most powerful assault mech to this day, well, in 3025, and is rumored to be able to pick up a light mech and crush it with its armored hands. Now that concludes all the BattleMech lore about the basic BattleMech overview. So, we'll go into more depth about each BattleMech, each class in specific, and we'll have a whole fucking list of history, weapons, equipment. We'll even break down their engine components and power plant systems. And it'll be a lot more in depth than this video. This video, we're just going into a general overlook of all the mechs. Now, I hope that gives you a sort of a good picture, so when we go into further detail, you'll kind of have like I guess you could say, the grander scheme of things. We'll also do things a little bit more naturally in the sense that we're not going to be on heavily as scripted as this. This is the last time we'll be seeing that fucking ugly script again. Oh, that was something. The fact that I made it through that alive is a is a remarkable thing, considering it's like what, only like 15 frickin' minutes worth of fucking script. But still, I'm not a script guy. I'm a natural speaker kind of person. So anyways, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you all in the next video. Until then, you have yourself a good one.